Cathaoirleach, and can I begin by thanking Minister Foley for her leadership and her stewardship in the department, and her last remarks clarify her position in terms of her commitment to equality, and I want to thank her for that. Could I also begin by paying tribute to the former minister, and he's in the House this afternoon, Roger Gorman TD, for his leadership and his courage as a minister, but also in going to Budapest Pride, and sending a clear message on behalf of all of us about the need for strong leadership. And Deputy Gorman, thank you for that, and Oireachtas Lath. This is a very important debate, Cathaoirleach, because we are, in celebrating Pride, recognising that we are 10 years on from marriage equality at one level, and we have made significant progress, recognising that we have significant challenges still. And as the Minister said, it isn't just about laws, it's about our attitudes, it's about our words, it's about our spaces and our commitment as members of civic society. It is also, and may I wish you all on behalf of Cork a happy Cork Pride, which begins next weekend, and to thank Deputy Rice, who is a former Chief Executive of the Cork Gay Project in Cork as well. We are in Cork probably different, that we have Pride different to other parts of the world, so it's next weekend, the bank holiday weekend in August, but it's an important, visible piece of what we do as a city, as part of the Rainbow City. And it would be remiss of me, Cathaoirleach, if I didn't tonight in this debate, in these statements rather, pay tribute to the late Siobhan O'Dowd for her Trojan work and her leadership as an activist, as an advocate, as a human rights champion, but as a person who strove to do what Minister Foley said, make our world a better place for all of us, whether it was the most vulnerable, LGBT, or the people she met in every part of her daily work. For many of us who were part of the campaign for marriage equality, it's probably still hard to believe that we voted in our plurality in the way we did. We're also very fortunate that in this House at Oireachtas, we have a members LGBT caucus and we have a staff representative association, and that we fly the rainbow flag. We hold a coffee morning, which in themselves are not major things, but they are symbols of the inclusive, diverse Parliament that we all represent, and that we park our political ideology. And I should also pay tribute to our great friend, and he's no longer a member of the House, former Senator Fintan Warfield and David Norris, who were with me part of that beginning with Malcolm Byrne and starting that campaign here in terms of us as a House holding those two simple but effective, positive symbols of inclusivity and diversity in our House. I suppose we'll never remember, or never forget rather, the scenes in Dublin Castle, and to step back to where we came from there to marriage equality to now, conscious of that, as David Norris said recently, there was only 6 or 7 at the first Gay Pride in Cork. There was only a handful of people like Kieran Rose, Arthur Leahy, champions, and an arduous journey to lead to political change. And we did do it incrementally. There were many who disagreed with us, many who thought we should have gone full throttle, but history will judge, and the Irish people were generous. And we've made significant progress, recognising that we have challenges. And that's why Pride is still important. That's why it's critical that we don't just celebrate and commemorate the past, that we challenge each other about the future and the world we live in today. It's about defending where we are, but it's also about shaping a more inclusive future. And that's why in the European Parliament review, in the ILGA Europe's annual review, there are situations for people who can't be free to be who they are, who can't be in a position like us today in this chamber, in this Parliament, and our allies and friends supporting us and speaking and raising the issues of anti-hate speech, raising the issues of discrimination, speaking about violent attacks on the streets. And whilst there are more people who are free to be out and be open, there are many people who are seeing an increase in violence and harassment and bullying against them. And that's why, as the Minister has said, we cannot have any tolerance for harassment and violence. And could I also make the point to us as parliamentarians, we have an obligation and responsibility to challenge those who have a different view to us and to call them out for what they say in these chambers, whether the Dáil or the Seanad. Could I just make one final point before I conclude? I think my time is nearly up. But today, the Emerald Warriors are champions of the world in the Union Cup. A gay rugby team from Ireland. Cork Hellhounds won a competition. Next Saturday, on the eve of the All-Ireland hurling final in Cork, we have 2 gay teams from the north of our island, the south of our island, playing in a match in the MTU. And I want to just thank the late Oireachtas in Cork for their wonderful, under the leadership of Aaron Kelly, and I should thank Richie Fagan and the Emerald Warriors for what they've done. Inclusivity in sport, diversity. You know, Oireachtas Ulla coming down to Cork, showing the power of sport, uniting, and again raising that rainbow flag. We've come a long way, Cathaoirleach and members, but could I just pose a question to all of us? What does it really mean to be free to be who you are? What does it mean to belong? When you have people around the world who are trying to take away the rights we won, that we campaign for, parts of the world that you would imagine should know better, meant to be the champions of democracy. So we can never take the progress we've made for granted. That's why pride, role models, events like tonight are critical. We do need campaigns, we do need visibility. And we must also recognise that marriage equality didn't put the roof on the house. It was a key moment, one we'll never forget. I can wear this ring because of the generosity of the Irish people. And I'll never forget that. But we must do more. And that's why I think it's critical that in this debate we listen, we understand. But as Charlie Bird said in his book, it was someday in May. And the progress we've made is one that we will continue. And that's why, as part of my commitment in my department in Community and Rural Affairs with Minister Foley, we will always be that champion. We will always be the advocate, working with all of us in this House, because I think there's very little that divides us in the matter of pride and equality. And I look forward to working with all of you to ensure that we continue to allow people to live safely, to be free in their workplace, to be free to be who they are, but more importantly, that we stand up to those who want to row back. And we stand with our friends in the trans community, conscious of that we have a journey to take there as well. And we must do that. Gramavis.
Thank you, Minister.